Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha. If you are new, so I just got my eyebrows done yesterday, so I'm going to fill them in. So I hope you guys are having a good day today. And if you're not familiar with codependency, it is an obsession or wanting an extensive amount of external validation all of the time. This means that you really don't have a sense of self and you really don't really know what you like or what you don't like. You kind of just morph into what other people really like. So, one sign of codependent behavior is only liking yourself if other people like you. So, if a person doesn't find you attractive or if someone doesn't find you funny, then you automatically kind of think that about yourself too without really asking any questions. Number two, you have an obsession with if you're in a relationship, a lot of codependent people will have this obsession of what their partner is doing rather than coexisting together. And this is a low key form of, it's not necessarily you're trying to control your partner, but you just really have an extensive want to know what they're doing. Like, and you have this idea that you kind of exert what they're thinking and feeling, and you kind of personalize it. Um, and I often thought that this was something that everyone does, but it's actually a form of hypervigilance. And it's just something that a lot of people have learned to do when they grow up or are around a lot of unpredictable people. Number three is codependent people or codependent relationships or people that don't have a very good identity or strong identity with themselves. They really have a fear of abandonment and they view relationships as something that they should just sacrifice themselves with. And if they're not in this type of relationship, then they feel kind of outside their comfort zone, like they don't really know what they should be doing with themselves. This is a big sign of codependency, and oftentimes a lot of people that have come from other countries, like families, and they have children, uh, a lot of times children that are grown up in homes that like the parent can't speak English, and so they kind of rely on their children to kind of make sure that they can interpret for them, or they kind of maybe enable them a little bit. And so they learn that caretaking is a form of love. So this is pretty common in today's society. You codependent people think that enabling is the same thing as love. So I'm going to be giving the opposite of what codependency actually is in relationships. So interconnection is what I like to prefer because it allows the two people to kind of coexist together. So when you have a healthy relationship, you leave room for both people to be themselves and to be able to operate together, right? So you can have multiple types of feelings and emotions, but you still are able to operate together. Whereas a codependent person will kind of feel into what the other person is feeling and they'll be like, oh, I feel like that too. So slowly over time, you kind of morph into each other's feelings, and there's not really a sense of identity between the two people, right? So interconnection relationships. Each of you have the ability to um, have your own feelings and emotions, even if they might clash with each other or you don't really agree. The second thing is that you each have your own hobbies, or you each have your own interests, even if the other person doesn't really get it. You still have your own sense of hobbies and identity and likes and dislikes, and but you still kind of coexist and um, kind of evolve together. Also, open communication is a very big sign of a person that is in a relationship or in the relationships that are healthy. Open communication is pretty simple. It's direct, and it's assertive. So a lot of codependent people will be not start out as codependent, right? They will start out as learning somewhere along the lines that communicating their needs directly didn't get them very far, or nothing really got resolved. So a lot of people will end up becoming very having these enmeshed traits because they never learned how to actually communicate. So therefore, they're not going to know what they actually want. So direct communication and assertiveness in communication is going to be really, really helpful. This is something I actually really struggle with, and I am like consciously working on it. So I used to really expect people to kind of read my mind and what I wanted. And I used to think that everybody did this, but well, a lot of people do, but it is also a sign that you really have a hard time communicating your needs, right? So transparency is a really big way that you can start to come out of lack of communication. So I noticed that a lot of people that struggle with communication and codependency and have an obsession of validation don't actually know what they want. So they're become in these relationships where they expect the other person to kind of know what they want and to kind of do things for them. So a rule that I subconsciously or try to live by within my daily life is I remind myself, no matter how hard it is, that no one is going to come save me. Like, I have to do the work. And for some people, they still have this idea within their mind that someone is going to come and do the work for them. No one is going to come do it for you. So, something that really helps is learning how to communicate, knowing what you actually want. So, problem is, a lot of codependents don't know what they want. So, I have come up with some little guidelines into actually knowing what you actually want. So, number one, if you're a person that doesn't know what they want, start out by communicating what you don't like. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't like a certain restaurant or a style of clothing, verbalize it out loud to somebody, not a journal, not somebody like texting, but verbalize, I do not like this. This will assert subconsciously that you have a sense of self and the other person has a sense of self. Now, many codependent people are terrified of conflict mainly because they don't know how to necessarily resolve it. Like, it just, the conflict kind of doesn't get them anywhere. So they learn how to suppress their emotions and they just pretend that they don't have any. So, very helpful. If you would like to have healthy relationships with yourself and with other people, you're going to have to verbalize what you don't want. Number two is, if you would like to know actually what you want, it's very helpful to know what you would like to embody or illustrate within your life. And this is to show like in a physical manner. This is could be viewed as, well, if I don't know what I want, what it is that I do want. And it's very helpful to identify what it is that you don't have in your life. So if you're a person that doesn't know what they want, well, a good sign would be direction or confidence. These are very solid things that you have to start somewhere. So these are very solid things that you can focus on. So if you're a person that doesn't know what they want, the chances are of you actually communicating or identifying what you want probably hasn't been really assessed in like a really long time. So, number one, what would you like to illustrate or demonstrate in your life? Number two, what are 3 points of credibility that you know that you can actually get to this point? So everybody has lived some sort of dysfunction within their life. So what are 3 points of credibility that you, or things in your life that you have overcome that you feel that has really empowered you in some way, even if it was painful? Whether it could be a relationship fail or a marriage fail, or it could be maybe a financial insecurity or addiction or something that you have overcome and that you are no longer struggling with. And everyone has at least 3 things. If they were at least 20 years old, you've probably overcome 3 things. So identify how it felt when you overcame those things and remember these feelings, right? Feelings are not facts, they are just information of a past. Is it a theme of not knowing what you want? Is it a theme of people pleasing? Is it a theme of addiction? So when you look past within your life, what is something that you have a theme or happening over and over again that maybe you haven't seen? So everybody has lessons to learn in this life, which makes life interesting. So, a theme could, if your theme is something that like addiction, then that probably means that you were not able to learn how to self soothe. Maybe it was you never learned how to have a stable income. You have never learned how to build a sense of self or confidence or self sufficiency. So, whatever it is that you find a theme within your life, you want to find what is the opposition of it, or what would be something that would be like the antidote to this. I like to use the word antidote because it is kind of like a medicine or a reason for this particular subject to transform into this antidote, right? So if you have this theme that you come up with, you can have some sort of direction of where you want to go. And granted, the direction that you are wanting to go isn't always going to feel good at first. The brain really likes to do things over and over again because it thinks that it's getting somewhere, but the brain is very good at learning new things, and that's what it's actually meant for. So if you're a person that wants to step out and learn new things, you're going to have to try new things because the brain learns on experience, not actually just thinking about doing it. Um, so I'm going to leave my personal declaration in the description box below. And this is something that you can actually write for yourself step by step. And it's something to have a little bit of a guideline to if you want to step out of codependency, and it really helps you move into a direction of what you actually want. So thank you guys so much for listening. And I will also let you know that I have an Elifmer shop and I have lots of clothing, shoes, items for pets that I have put my art on, and my art is all original. I use lots of pens, acrylics, mostly paints, and I would love to share that with you. I will leave that in the description box below. But I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.